my time, think it's my year, yeah.
What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to the morning show. Spencer Israel, JC Parets, Steve Strazza. We got a lot going on this morning. Dear Lordy. We got some earnings. Apparently, we have to discuss this U.S. credit downgrade. I'm sure we all have opinions about that. We have some good charts to show. We'll talk about some stocks at critical levels here on the upside and the downside. Going to talk about small caps because have you seen them recently? Let's see. Brian Lund is our featured guest today. He'll be on at 9. Kimmy Sokoloff, as always, at 9:15. So that's the show. Smash the like. Let's go. It's the morning show. Wake up, people.
All right, we're back. Hey, Strazza's in the house. How about that? 2 days in a row, huh?
Yeah, get used to it. Are you excited to get out?
I think Spencer welcomes it because I get to give you shit also instead of just ripping him the whole time. So it's good. Strazza and I are playing golf twice this week. Hello, who's golfing? Who's golfing?
Are you excited to see me? Did you miss me while I was gone?
Honestly, it could be anybody there on the golf course with me, whether it's you or anybody else. I'm just kidding. I'm only half kidding. I kind of also do feel that way too. Kind of gives me an excuse to get out. Sorry, tell my wife, Strazza's in town. I got to show him a good time. We're gonna have to get a babysitter. I don't know what to tell you. So I'm definitely using you as an excuse. But yeah, I mean, listen, you've been gone for a month. I'm dying to hear these stories about Asia. You're keeping them from me, like I want to hear the juice. I want to hear the juicy stories.
I took a lot of notes, and I've just in the past few days, I've been jotting down little narration voiceover tidbits because I'm so worried I'm going to forget things.
Well, you're definitely going to forget things. So the idea is to try to remember as much as you can, right? That's all you can do. And it'll come to you over time. Remember I told you, it's it's going to be a whirlwind because when you're in Asia for over 3 weeks, it's not just physically, the physical toll that it takes on you, but mentally, the stimulus overload and so your mind is trying to process all these new things. I mean, it's exhausting. I get it. I've been there.
And trust me, I love to talk, but you guys all know that. But we were doing presentations one night, right? Then meeting new friends and doing interviews for the documentary the next day. We were just talking and learning so much and trying to absorb so much information. It was just it
was a lot. So you're happy to be back? You're happy to play a little golf?
Can't wait because I really haven't golfed much at all. I did get out there twice while I was away, but we're
getting messages from the chat. Did you hit mini season at all, or were you in Asia? Because it was it's at the end of July. You were still in Asia, right?
Yeah. Just got back.
What days are mini lobster season? Like the 28th, 29th of July, something like that?
Dude, I'm so out of it.
Something like that. It usually is. I know it's hot as shit.
Time out. Wait, what is mini lobster season?
It's
why don't you educate the man from New Jersey?
We don't know. Some of us don't know.
Yeah, so the regular lobster season starts in a few days here, August 6th. Mini season is typically a week before?
No, it's 2 days.
That's it, right. It's a day or two. Yeah, okay, not even a week.
Depends on who you are. I think it might be 3 days total. Certain people get to go a day early, and then the next 2 days are for the amateurs like me.
Yeah, you get to hit the waters and catch some of the spiny lobster down here, which are very easy to catch at the beginning of the season. They're everywhere.
They don't have claws.
Yeah, you just plop right down and grab them, but they get fished out real quick. So they let, all us regular average Joes get down there first.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So needless to say, South Florida, Miami, everybody's got lobsters. Everyone's giving lobsters away to the point where it's dude, we have too many lobsters. You want some? No, we have too many as it is, right? That's true. It's God honest truth. It's like that during mango season too, by the way. Everyone's got mangoes. It's like that in avocado season. Everyone's got avocados. They don't know what to do with it.
You're right.
These are first world problems that happen in Miami.
You're right. Coconuts too could be.
I gotta get down there. All right.
I've never experienced the coconut issue. The mango, lobsters, and avocados, definitely every year.
Those are like my 4 favorite foods: lobster, mango, avocado, coconut. It's like
Yeah.
my 4
What are you
favorite
doing in
foods.
New Jersey, bro?
I have
Go
no
down to
idea.
Miami.
What am I doing here? All right.
All right,
All right.
state of the markets. Let's hit it.
Let's talk.
All right, so I'm like, seriously, no fronting. How many of you knew that these Fitch people still existed? Come on, don't lie. Did you know they existed?
Stop. Come on. Yes.
Are you serious? You knew that they were still around? I thought they died in 08.
No, they massively fucked up in 08, but they didn't go anywhere.
How is that even possible?
They're all still here. S&P, Moody's, Fitch.
Man, I do this for a living. I didn't know these guys still existed.
So
And no relation to Abercrombie. I had to look it up. None whatsoever. It's not like it's like the same guy that does
So who was it? Tom Lee tweeted out, I think, that markets aren't even reacting to this.
Listen, I didn't know Tom Lee very well until recently, and smart dude, junkie, man, junkie. All he wants to do is talk about the markets. Like, I mean, I can appreciate that, like from one junkie to another, it takes one to know one. He really loves this shit. Like he's, I mean, you do too, obviously, I do, but this guy, he's one of us. One of us.
I could have guessed that almost, because not knowing the details of his analysis or what they really do over there at all, knowing that, it's him and Mark, and just watching the way that he's kind of like navigated the market over the years, we usually agree with him directionally. So he must be looking at some of the same stuff as we are.
Well, he's fundamentally, by background, but he's not stupid. He understands how important market trends are. So I really appreciate that. The intermarket relationships, like he, self-admittingly, it's not like his area of expertise, but like he's really into the intermarket stuff. Like when we started really getting into that. So anyway, shout out Tom Lee.
Yeah.
That he's definitely one of us. And by the way, I don't just assume that, because I'm not going to mention any names, but I've been disappointed in the past. People who I've respected and I love their analysis, and then I meet them and they don't even care. Like they just do it because it's a paycheck or whatever, and they're not one of us. And I'm not going to mention any names, but they're out there. Tom Lee, one of us. We'll get him on the show soon.
Yeah, we should. So back to the ratings. What happened? U.S. Treasuries, right, the risk-free security for global financial markets, were downgraded from, I guess, the top rating to, I think it was AA+, AA+.
This is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. And I hear a lot of dumb shit all the time. You should hear some of the things that Spencer was saying when you were gone. I hear dumb shit all the time. The fact that it's A, B, C, D, like, what is that? Like, why can't we just do 1 to 10 or 1 to 100? Like this AA+ bullshit. Like, what is that? Come on. I can't do it.
So what do you think their reason was? What did they cite as the purpose of this downgrade?
I think they're just bored. Like they just needed something to do. You know how like attorneys, like they go out of their way to like show you like how important they are, and like even though like, you know what I mean, like instead of just like helping us get a deal done, like I feel like they just want to feel wanted.
Well, they have to do something, right? They must get bored.
I didn't know they existed. I hadn't heard this name in 15 years.
Bond ratings, yeah, they don't just do this, but the entire bond market, I believe. Anyway, they cited an erosion of governance. So this has been rumored for a while. And JC, I don't have to tell you, it's like every time we get close to some sort of like a debt ceiling deadline and people aren't agreeing in Washington, there's like rumors of this kind of a downgrade happening. So market doesn't seem to care, but erosion of governance, basically they're just making fun of the political environment in the US.
I guess, bro. It doesn't make any sense to me. I think this interesting, Brandon talking about how the Fitch downgrade is like your mom putting you in timeout. I feel like it's more like your mom suggesting that you go to timeout and then you're not listening. I feel like it's more like that, right? You know what I mean? Can we throw up the 10-year yield? Can we throw up the 10-year yield?
So what's your take on this? What's your take? Because I saw your tweet. What
I'm asking, bro. I don't know. I mean, you should have seen when you were gone. When you were gone, every guest, I'm asking about the 10-year yield. Every guest.
And
You know,
what did they say? What's the what's the general consensus out there?
the best answer I've heard is, is just sideways for longer, right? Like no resolution, just more frustration, and that's been right. It continues to be right. I'm really fascinated by the large speculators. They're betting that the resolution is higher
Mm-hmm.
in a more aggressive way than ever in history. And do we really want to be betting along with large speculators, particularly at extremes? I mean, not really, right?
Do we have a chart of gasoline? And if not, Fonz, can we get it? Because
As we pull up the gasoline, right along those, throw up slide 2 in the meantime. This is gasoline is in there, obviously, indirectly, but throw up slide 2 there, Spencer. This is equities for rising rate ETF. So these are stocks that theoretically should do well if interest rates are rising. And then you've got your U.S. 10-year yield, of course. And I want to show you on the upper right there, the weightings of the equities for rising rates ETF. The weightings, a third of it is financials. Another third is essentially energy, right? So 60% of this index is energy and financials. Then you got close to 20% materials, 10% industrials, and just to reiterate the obvious, 0% technology, 0% communications. It's like 3% discretionary.
yeah.
So needless to say, the types of stocks that should do well in rising rates are some of those others. But again, the fact that large speculators have on their most aggressive bets short bonds, betting on higher rates in history, that doesn't sit well with me. That's not a bet that I feel comfortable making.
Okay, but hold on. Aren't we seeing rotation into exactly these groups over the very short term, right?
Yes.
We could throw up that bubble chart right now. Financials, energy, materials, they're the leaders over the past month now.
Throw up the bubble chart. The world needs more bubbles.
So we're sitting here thinking, okay, if we get some sort of a rotation in leadership here towards the more value cyclical stuff, doesn't that EQRR break out and support a breakout in rates too?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm just saying, these large speculators are very aggressive right now. And when they get so aggressive, so I'm not that convinced. But I mean, I'm not going to disagree with anything you're saying. Joe, a little off topic, starts talking about how the lobsters down in the Caribbean are not as good as Maine lobsters. While true,
say that.
Hold on. While true, you should see the way these Jamaicans do the lobsters, bro. These Jamaicans do not mess around. Do the Jamaicans make the best lobsters?
Probably.
They crush it, dude.
They make a lot of the best stuff down here, in my opinion.
These Jamaicans, man, they crush it with the lobsters.
The meats too. They're really good with
these people from Maine. They don't know what they're doing up there. You don't have to do anything, actually. Just a little bit of butter, maybe a lemon. You do nothing. The Jamaicans, they get down and dirty. It's.
I like Florida spiny lobster, but I would never even compare it to Maine lobster. It's not even close. But it's half the price too, and they're everywhere down here. So it's a different thing. You eat them differently. I still crave lobster rolls. Great.
I'm going to Rhode Island next week, so I'll be getting involved.
Right now.
Question. So did you see this Bitcoin situation? How do we feel about that? Can you throw up slide 3? Throw up slide 3, please. How do we feel about this? Is this you called it? I was on the phone with you yesterday, and I'm like, man, do I start adding to my crypto position? He's like, yeah, what are you waiting for? And I'm like, well, I want to see. And you're like, just buy it. I'm like, well, I don't know. So I got home, I bought some more. I added maybe a third more to my position. What
was I really saying, though? I was making a better argument than just buy it. I was saying, if everything else is working, are we going to sit here and make the bet that Bitcoin's going to roll over and resolve lower from this continuation? I don't know. Would be strange. You haven't seen it yet, though. It's not done.
You haven't seen it yet. You got to stick that 30. It kissed 30 last night before I went to bed, and I was like, "Whoa, I wonder if I'm going to wake up and this thing's ripping," and it was not.
Yeah, I don't trust it yet.
kind of a little bit of a dud so far, failing up here again.
I'm gonna get that chart showing all the failed moves. I love that. I love that chart. It's worked a couple times this year already.
All right, well,
you know what's different this time though, JC? The last 2 times this year that failed moves kind of sparked new up legs in Bitcoin. There was also some really negative headlines and a lot of bad news kind of surrounding the price action.
Well, are these Fitch people downgrading U.S. debt? Is that not bad news?
It's nothing to do with Bitcoin.
Oh, got it. So you're talking about specifically crypto bad news.
Yeah, remember? What was it? The Coinbase SEC thing.
FTX. Yeah.
And then there was another one in January. But anyway, I have the chart. I'm going to find it.
I got one more. I want to throw up there, slide 4, to just kind of close out the state of the market situation here.
Hasn't the news around Bitcoin been really positive lately, though, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and without breaking out, which is like, the best news ever in Bitcoin has been coming off, has been popping off. Can we throw up slide 4, please? Can we get slide 4? Look at that, slide 4. Is this good for stocks?
No. This is the most concerning chart out there right now. There's your bear case.
That's right.
It's the best bear case chart you got.
Come on, Spencer, leave the damn chart up.
No. You can see that because I can't.
Yeah, can you leave the damn chart up?
I thought you couldn't see it. Sorry.
No, but now it's the blurry one. You had it up before.
My smoke alarm is.
What are you doing, Spencer? Come on.
Hardwired.
Right, never mind.
Can we put up the chart, please?
Can I address the smoking alarm?
Why is this such a problem?
Fonz and I spent an hour on this yesterday. Here, I got it.
Thank you. God, just want a clean dollar chart. Am I asking for too much?
So what is
asking for too much?
101's the level here. Ignore the
101.5, I think, is a good one.
All right, fine.
Like we always say, we draw these lines with crayons, right? It's not like, it's not an exact precise to the penny. It's more of a range, as the market has proven since day one, since history.
Yeah. You could zoom out and see why this level is important too, right?
Why it's form of resistance and stuff like that, you're saying, back in the day?
2020 in March, we peaked at about 102 and change, 103.
Yeah. Like a lot of market memory here, but if we're above that 101.5, guys, I think stocks in general are going to have a harder time going up.
But isn't it still sideways for the dollar? We're talking about this big level. It doesn't mean it's a new uptrend for the dollar.
It doesn't, but these failed breakdowns, Strazza, you've seen these before. You don't need me to tell you what the implications of something like this are. From failed moves come what?
Yeah. Fast moves. I would prefer to own more stocks more aggressively in an environment where this is back below whatever 101, like you said.
Yeah, totally. For sure. 100%. 100%.
But I also don't think it has to be the end of the world that it's back in its old range.
I don't necessarily think it's the end of the world, but you said it yourself. This is the bear case. This is the most worrisome, how did you put it?
This is the best chart that bears have, right? To argue.
I don't know. You made another point. The way you said it was good. Yeah, this is the most, this is the most, this is the bear declaration, the bear constitution. I mean, if you're shorting equities here, if you think stocks are going to go down, chart number 1 of your reasoning is the US dollar. It's that simple. So the fact that dollar's ripping, I find it hard to be aggressively buying stocks. I think we need to be very, very stock specific and tighten up stops. Well, shorter leash. I think all of those things are warranted in an environment where the dollar's doing well.
Well, if you've been actively trading and looking for setups and ideas, being selective is not easy in this environment because everything's breaking out of these beautiful reversal patterns. Not many patterns are failing and resolving lower.
Yet.
There's almost too many options out there. The hardest part has been picking the best ones. So many things look good.
Dollar's got to be front and center, guys. I'm telling you, we don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. Strazza doesn't know. Warren Buffett, Tom Lee, nobody actually knows.
Yeah.
All we can do is weigh the evidence. And yes, information from the past, because us mere mortals are forced to only use information from the past. If you could point us to a resource where we can take a look at some information from the future, I know Strazza and I would be happy to take a look. But my suspicion is you don't have information from the future, and you are also stuck with information from the past, like the rest of us. So what we can do, to quote Annie Duke, she's written a couple of great books. Thinking in Bets is a must read for any investor. One of the things she talks about is how, as investors and poker players for that matter, we are making the best decisions we can with incomplete information. Oh, there you go. Is that Thinking in Bets, or is that the new one?
Thinking in Bets.
Yeah, I have the old cover. It's a different cover.
It's a great book.
Yeah.
With you.
So that's what we're doing. We're making decisions with incomplete information. Like, that's just what it is. So that's the case in poker. That's certainly the case in the stock market, and that's what we have here. They're mixed messages. Why is the dollar putting in a failed breakdown and now ripping? A lot of stocks are set up great. A lot of sectors are set up great. Who's got it right? Or are the correlations now changing? And anytime that anybody's bet on the correlation between equities and the dollar changing, it's been a bad bet. It's been a bad bet to make. They've lost. So I'm not ready to make that bet.
Yeah. Another thing too is, even if you had perfect information, this isn't easy, right? You don't know where the market's going to go. We spend enough time looking at insider filings, people with far better information than we have, maybe some of the best information, get it wrong all the time.
Yeah, but most of those people suck at trading stocks. Like, they're not like stock market people. They are like scientists in biotechnology. They're senators. Like, they're not like traders. Maybe like Pelosi and her husband and YOLOing and Tommy Tubbs down in Auburn or something. But
I could tell you stories, things that I saw when I was in public accounting, CEOs and founders front running what they thought would be mergers, and then the mergers don't go through and they end up losing a ton of money in their personal account and getting in trouble. I'm just saying, it's not easy, even with the best information.
That's right. Like if the Fed was doing something tomorrow and we had the information, we had what they said, what they did, we had all that in front of us, we still probably wouldn't get the direction of the market right.
The market bottomed on October 13th of last year on information that everyone was convinced would be bad for prices.
Well, that's why it bottomed. Right. Yeah, exactly. All right, Spencer, before we bring on Brian Lund, you want to talk any earnings? Anything moving this morning?
Yeah, we got a few. AMD is probably the big one. We should talk about that.
Yeah, let's do it.
As far as the numbers go, so AMD is up about 2.5% this morning. Relatively muted response, I would say, to a earnings report company of this size. But let's get the AMD chart up. There you go. EPS beat by a penny. Sales came in a little bit above estimates as well. Guidance was like, I guess you can call it a little bit light. They guided Q3 revenue about $5.7 billion versus a $5.8 billion estimate. But they did really talk up how strong demand is. So we know about this supply, but there's apparently lots of demand. So they're talking about that, which is sort of the opposite of what was it Texas Instruments or Micron? I think maybe it was Micron was the opposite of what they said. But they talked about their demand being strong and margins are coming in a little bit. So there was some negative headlines there, but overall it was an okay report.
By the way, Spencer Israel underselling the move this morning. For the record, it's up $5 billion in market cap overnight.
All right.
So I mean, when you put things in perspective like that, you know what I mean? That's not nothing.
2.5%, $5 billion, tomato.
5 billion. What's another 5 billion? $5 billion here, 5 billion there. I mean, listen, to Spencer's point, these days, like, how much is actually 5 billion? It's a mid-cap stock is what it is. So, AMD added a mid-cap to its.
Let me defend Spencer. The point he's simply trying to make is this is a muted earnings reaction. You're getting the stock's up 2.5% in a half hour every morning. The stock
saying 5 billion.
Did I see Starbucks on this earnings list?
Oh yeah, that's next.
Yeah, What's going on here?
It's a mess, dude. These things are a mess. There's nothing going on.
Starbucks are everywhere, anywhere you go.
Did you see a lot of them in Asia or no?
Everywhere. Yeah.
How many 7-Elevens did you see in Asia?
It's incredible. It's so good.
Dude, there's so many 7-Elevens.
The food at the 7-Elevens in Tokyo is actually fantastic.
Well,
you can eat it.
They literally have sushi rolls at like the checkout counter at the cashier.
I wouldn't go eating like the fresh fish, but like the food there is fine. More than fine. I did it.
Dude, in college, I used to get those 7-Eleven nachos, late munchies food. Oh, it's disgusting, dude.
Gross. All right. You buying Starbucks? I'm not.
Hell no, dude. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
No. Are you buying Starbucks?
No.
For what it's worth,
like Starbucks.
Wait, for what it's worth,
Dunkin' family.
Strazza, apparently Starbucks is seeing very strong demand in China. To echo your point, that's what the CEO said this morning or yesterday. So
they're everywhere in Hong Kong.
Yeah. Anyway, comps were a little bit light. I think so. Anyway, the stock's down like 1% this morning. So quiet morning for Starbucks.
How about some of the other news items that I shared in the chat this morning?
Well, yeah. I mean, we got so much going on here. Let's power through a couple more earnings real fast. What else is on the list here? We had AMD, Starbucks. Oh, wait. Let's talk MicroStrategy, MSTR. Okay. So,
all right.
So,
can I address the fire alarm issue here?
What fire alarm issue?
If it was as simple in the chat. If it was as simple as me just replacing batteries, it wouldn't still be beeping. These things are like hardwired into the house. I can't get it to shut up. Working on it. But yes, it's been driving me crazy too since yesterday now. Come home and everything's broken.
Oh, gosh. That's great.
You disappear for 3-4 weeks. Nothing works, Strazza. Our pets' heads are falling off.
Yeah.
All right, can we talk about Michael Saylor?
MicroStrategy. They had earnings last night. The earnings, actually, I don't really understand how the earnings could be so different from the estimates. Because shouldn't this be a pretty simple...
What earnings? What earnings?
They had earnings.
Who's they?
MicroStrategy.
Get the fuck out of here. There's no earnings, bro. It's a Bitcoin ETF.
There are earnings. I'm telling you.
They're not earnings.
They had $120 million in sales last quarter.
Wow. $120 million.
No, but I wasn't gonna get there. My whole point was I don't really understand how the estimates and the actuals can be so far off because it's just Bitcoin. So
it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Whenever Bitcoin goes up. Anyway, the bottom
was it? Read me the numbers. How far?
$2.35 earnings per share, 71-cent estimates.
Yeah, dude, it's because their earnings are simply unrealized gains and losses from their Bitcoin.
And no one knows where they bought. Okay, so anyway, the real headline though was after the earnings report, it was this offering, another one, $750 million offering. They're selling more stock, and they're going to buy more Bitcoin with it. That's what they do.
Hey, there's been demand for their stock. Stock's not down on the news. The offering. That's fine, I guess.
Can I get a clean chart? Why can't I get a clean chart?
You can.
Why do we keep getting these blurry charts? I don't understand.
The earnings calendar looks god awful too. I can't even see the logos.
Okay. Well, everyone just lay it on me.
We're going to rip you until we get it right. Well, I don't understand what the problem is. Why can't we just press a button and get the goddamn chart like a normal stream?
See,
because for whatever reason, Fonz's computer.
If this isn't fixed this week, we're changing. We're moving on to OBS, like I said originally.
It's not Restream's fault.
Well, we'll see about that.
Where would the backup battery be?
Hold on. Stop. $750 million in a secondary offering, which traditionally, the way that markets normally work historically, is that companies raise money, sell shares, so that, or do a bond offering so that they can hire more people, property, plant, and equipment. Like Strazza knows more about, CapEx than I do, but these are just a few examples. Nope, not Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor. Nope, we're going to issue more stock so we can buy Bitcoin.
Love it. I mean, dude, it's probably safer than a lot of other things these companies are raising money for out here.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Honestly, though, if I was bullish Bitcoin, I would much rather, I'm a convert now. I would much rather own the stock than own Bitcoin. Like,
No,
I'll,
it's better, though.
you know, it seems like a much better way to play it. All right,
So
let's
you'd
get.
rather own MicroStrategy stock than Bitcoin.
Yeah, if I wanted to buy more Bitcoin, I would do it.
Yeah,
via,
but it's a leveraged play.
yeah. Well, and yeah, it's
So,
leveraged.
so what do you think MicroStrategy is? Like a 2x Bitcoin? Have we done the
Well,
math? I haven't done the math.
We've
No,
done the
it's
math
not.
before. It's not that much.
It's
No.
not that much.
It feels
No.
like it feels
It's
like
more than one, though.
I did it months ago.
Let's update that because I want to know. I want to know the Mara. I want to know what the Mara's got a beta of 5, but that's against S&P. So I want to see what the beta is relative to BTC. I think Spencer makes a good point here.
Well,
I want all of them. Riot, all of them.
No, well, you could look up the beta on Yahoo Finance. I'm going to calculate the discount that MicroStrategy.
No, I don't care about the discount. I want the beta relative to Bitcoin, not beta relative to S&Ps.
Oh,
I don't care about the beta relative to S&Ps in this case.
All right, let's get today's guest on, Brian Lund from the Lund Loop. He's here.
Can't wait to talk about Vietnam.
Jay, we've been friends for a time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
Brian,
See in the house.
You guys are like the millennial Golden Girls, sitting there yelling at each other.
You love it, Brian. You love it. You can't get enough.
Gen X, maybe you're Gen. What are you, Gen X, JC?
I'm 82, bro. I'm millennial. I'm like an elder millennial, right? What's the cutoff? 79?
you're not a millennial. You're too
Yeah,
old.
so 65 and later is Gen X. So I'm Gen X.
We definitely can't relate to those people. What about what's the cutoff? I'm definitely a millennial.
Well, I don't know this for millennials. I know that if you're born 65 and 4, that's Gen X. So I'm barely Gen X.
Let's ask the chat. Let's get the chat in here. Do you guys think JC qualifies as a millennial?
I think like 82 is the cutoff.
You're close, dude.
I can't relate to the younger millennials though. That's the thing. The younger millennials is like
I think it's
mentally
82,
you're not millennial, JC. Mentally you're not.
It's like early 80s to mid 90s. That's millennials.
Got it. So depends on what music you like.
Listen, I grew up like a Cuban in Miami. I feel like now I'm like an old Jewish man. That's how I feel like now when I went to Catholic school from the age of 4 to 22, and then I got to Wall Street, and I've been Jewish for 20 years or so now.
That's funny.
It is. I didn't really realize it at the time, but now I'm like, yeah. I was definitely transformed, which is cool. I'm into it. My sister just married a Jewish guy, so like we're getting there. Question, Mr. Brian Lund. Are we buying pot stocks or what?
Oh, come on.
Oh, God. Pot stocks. So look, here's what I'll tell you. So you asked me last time we were on, you said, gun to your head, what pot stock if you had to buy one? And I said Tilray. And since then I think they did a secondary, had a gap down. But if you look at their chart right now, it's actually showing a lot of strength relative to pot. I mean, when pot stocks show strength, you can barely see it on a chart, but it has shown a little different characteristic than we've seen the last 2 years. So I'm keeping my eye on them, but I don't really have high hopes.
I mean, they got to work now if they're going to work, right? You can't find many groups that are not trending higher these days.
But that's the thing, right? We've seen this massive rally since October. They've done nothing. And I think the risk for all of these stocks, it's funny. I had a conversation 5 years ago with Dan from Trade Ideas, who, he knows a lot about pot stocks. And so I asked him, I said, what stocks?
Tell me more.
Well, I think he will tell you he enjoys that area, right? So anyway, I was asking him about pot stocks. This is early on. I said, what stocks? If anyone knows, Dan, And he told me all their cap tables were train wrecks, right? And so I think that's still probably the problem with a lot of these stocks is, first of all, they went from being in a illegal business to a legal business. And I think the transition of leadership didn't go smoothly. You had people that were running these companies in a shady gray market that haven't made the transition to fully public entities. Then you've got these cap tables that are just a train wreck. And I think the risk for pot stocks is a perpetual cycle of secondaries and reverse splits. I mean, you've seen it with, I think, Aurora, right? ACB. It's reverse split, I think, twice, like 15 for one reverse split. So that's the worry, is like what stocks
Those don't
actually
come in strong uptrends, Brian. I've noticed.
What's that?
Those things don't come in strong uptrends.
No. So the worry is which ones will actually survive. If you can figure out which ones will survive, then I think maybe you got a shot. You certainly have a perpetual call.
You have a nice tan going. Where you been?
They do.
Who, I have a tan?
Yeah, you got a nice little tan. You got a little glow going. Looking
Yeah,
good.
I think it's the lights here. Yeah.
Oh, I was
Brian,
gonna say you're living beautiful California, so you're getting plenty of sun.
I'm the whitest guy you know, JC. That's why I had to marry a Vietnamese woman to get a little bit of
Dude,
ethnicity
Strazza's
in my
like
kids, right?
Lund would be so jealous right now of all the things we were doing in Vietnam.
I saw your guys' pictures, man. You guys look like you had a great time.
I was thinking of you every time we would eat. Do you go there? Have you been there? Like, we got to talk.
So it's really funny. So my wife came here at 5, right? And it's actually, JC, you might relate to this because there's a lot of parallels between the Vietnamese immigrant journey and the Cuban immigrant journey. And my mother-in-law and father-in-law got on a boat, like a big, massive freighter, at 12 o'clock the day that Saigon fell, with 5 kids, all under the age of 6, right? No money. Got on this boat just to get away from the communists. They went out to the ocean. They were there for 2 days. The boat broke down. It was literally drifting out in the ocean with like 1,000 other refugees. And my mother-in-law tells this crazy story that my sister-in-law, the youngest one, was literally dying in her arms because she was dehydrated, right? She was only like 9 months old. And they were getting ready to actually, if she died, to throw her overboard because they wouldn't allow dead, obviously people on the boat. And just before that happened, they were spotted by an American frigate, which got them and towed them, and then they ended up going to Hong Kong to a refugee camp for like 6 months. Then they sent them to Connecticut, right? So you go from living in Vietnam where you've never seen snow to Connecticut, right? They wanted to spread the Vietnamese out around the country because they didn't want them to overwhelm any certain area. And then after 1 year, they were allowed to go wherever they want, and a lot of them went back to Houston because that was a big fishing area, the Gulf there. And so my wife has been here since she's been 5. No interest in going back to Vietnam.
Yeah, my grandparents, if I ever go back to Cuba, I wouldn't be able to tell my family. I'd have to lie to them. It's like a whole thing. That's why I've never been.
Yeah. So
it's crazy.
Quite a journey.
Are you buying any Vietnamese stocks? Because Strazza is.
Are you? It's funny. There was a Vietnamese ETF like years ago that I looked at.
Still
okay.
is. VNM.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, something you said on a Spaces a week or so ago, Steve, really hit me. So you went on this big tour of the Far East, and you made this point that over there, and tell me if I'm wrong, that most people, they're not really focused on shorting, right? They're optimistic and they want to get on these big trends and just ride them. And you were contrasting that to Americans who, I think we're fat and happy over here, that are just malcontents. You hate a trend, you want to fight it, you want to get short, you want to say the market's not going to rally. It's such a weird difference in attitudes, and I think we should adopt more of that attitude instead of being contrarians just for the sake of being contrarians.
I couldn't agree
more. I think the three of us are that, right, Brian? Like I feel like the three of us are more optimistic and less haters. Like we're short stocks if we think it's a zero. Obviously, it's not going to stop Brian Lund. Certainly not going to stop Strazza. Not going to stop me.
My nature is I'm naturally an a-hole. Okay, I'm naturally a cynic, right? And I've had to fight that because it's not a really good trait in either life or the market. So I have that. I want to go there. Like, no, that's not going to work out, or that's wrong. And I've had to fight it. Right? It's a part of my nature that just doesn't help when it comes to making money in the market.
But that's good that you recognize that. Russo says the same thing.
Who says that?
Dan Russo. He says the same thing.
Oh, I love Dan. Yeah, Dan's great. Yeah.
Let me just say 2 quick things on this because it was super interesting. And you're right, Brian. It was like refreshing. Like they're onto something there. I like their style a lot more than ours. We've made it sexy to be contrarian with these big bad stories like The Big Short about the financial crisis.
They make movies about it. And so everybody thinks that they're a short seller.
We glorify, for good reason, some of the best investors for their big short bets over the years, right? Everybody knows the stories. So that's just not as much of a thing there. That's one. And the second thing is there's some sort of element to varying degrees, depending on where, of like nationalistic pride, where at least in their local equity markets, they're very small. 30, 40, 50 names
Right.
that they're participating in. And just like here in the US, most of them are consumer facing, right? It's literally the brands that they use and love every day. Why do they want to bet on them going?
Yeah, they want them to succeed. Yeah.
Yes. So, and
It's like root for your home baseball team or football team, right? You want it to win. Right?
when you think about it, and just like real high
Not the
level,
Jets. They just wanted to come in last so they get a better draft pick.
Is that hockey? The Jets? Is that what that is?
No.
they look at us like we're a bunch of sickos for wanting to always be short. And Sean's asking about, well, can I at least buy puts? Like how do I get
some of these countries are not even allowed to short, so there's that also.
I asked one of the guys I went golfing with, actually, is a trader. He's worked on the sell side. Now he works on the buy side. He knows the markets in the Philippines, at least, really well. And I said, well, how do you hedge? And he's like, just go to cash.
Yeah. You always wonder about those markets too, is like, how liquid are they? Like there's one time where I was in a phase where I was going to trade the Australian market overnight. Right. And it was so thin, and I can only imagine some of these. So what's the liquidity like in these markets?
Talk about a phase though, Brian. I can't imagine what you were going through that you wanted to trade the Australian market.
We all have our silly things that we do throughout our lives and realize how dumb it is, right? I mean,
no, you know what it is? It's when you think
way dumber shit, Strazza.
It's like when you think you have an edge that nobody else does. Every trader goes through that phase, especially when it comes to options, right? They think they can figure out some sort of, purple condor that nobody else knows about, right? And I thought, I'm going to trade overnight on IB, the Australian market, and no one else knows. No one's figured that out yet, right? And I'm going to make a killing. Well, it didn't work out that way.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Wait. Brian sent over a graphic I want to bring up. Brian, can you talk about this?
Keep it going, Spencer.
I've seen this before.
Oh,
yeah.
So here's what I want to talk about.
Guys named Brian.
Yeah, right. So today everybody's going to talk about how, there's a debt downgrade. Everyone's going to talk about yields getting high. Everyone's going to talk about the market rolling over. And I'm trying to discourage people from thinking about what's happening today. And I want them to think about what's happening in 6 months, 12 months, 24 months. When I was on this show, May 18th, right? A little over 2.5 months ago, the talk at that time was, what's going to break us out of this range? Like there's just nothing that can break us out of this range. And we all said, whatever's going to break us out of this range, we're not going to see it, right? And sure enough, we did break out, and we've seen the NASDAQ rally 18%. We've seen IWM rally 15%, and we've seen the SPX rally 11%. Do we even
know the reason yet? No, right?
We don't care about the reason. But the point I'm trying to say is, forget that move, okay? If you didn't get in on that move, you missed that move. Fine, whatever. It was a tough move to get in for some people. I want you to think where you're going to be in 24 months from now and looking back and saying, what should I have been in?
24 months from now? That's
well,
impressive.
6 to 24, let's say a range, right? So I'm using this. This is from Brian Shannon's book, this fantastic first book, Technical Analysis of Stock Trends. And so it's 4 stages of stock's life cycle, let's say. It's based on Stan Weinstein's great book from years ago. And so I believe that we went through the distribution and decline stage in most stocks in 2022. Then I think we went into the accumulation stage. Now I think a lot of these stocks are in the markup stage, and they're in the early part of the markup stage. Yep. And one of the ways I think you can identify these stocks is obviously, they've come down, they've based, they've broken out. That when they come back and pull back to the 50 above the 200 and they hold, right? I think that's a good spot for a lot of these stocks to start a position, and then to add to that position if we do continue to go through this stage 2. And this is the stage where you make the most money. And by the way, these cycles last years, so you're not going to get another shot at this stage 2 for a long time if that's what we're actually in.
Brian, we've been saying it internally for a long time. I love this. It's the time to be aggressive, right? Especially in the areas that have completed their reversal patterns. When I look at stage 1 and stage 2 here from Brian's graphic, stage 1 to me is the base. That's the reversal pattern. And then stage 2 is the follow-through move off of the base breakout, right? So I was just in Asia giving presentations in all these different countries, talking, just ad nauseum about the characteristics of a reversal pattern. Because like you said, once those reversal patterns have completed and resolved to the upside, that tells us or suggests that we should be looking at higher prices, not just for the next week or next month, but over the long term, right? These are reversals in the primary trends. I think that's important to like.
And the reason I'm saying 6, 12, 24 months is I want people to have a little bit, wider time frame, because again, we've had a big run, right? We've stayed above the 8, we've stayed above 21 in all the indexes. We're going to pull back. We're going to lose that. We're going to get to the 21. We're going to get to the 50. That is a normal, healthy correction in the market. And when that happens, I don't want people to forget what phase we're in. I don't want them to panic and go, here we go, we're going back to the October lows. And then you can use that 50 EMA. I use the EMA as your stop, right? You come down there, you hold, you start to come up, you grab a position, or you start to scale in. If you lose it, you're out, right? And you don't have, it's not all or nothing. You don't have to put your whole position in at one time. You can get in as the trend continues.
So you're using moving average to define your risk to the downside. I think one of the hardest things about stage 2 is getting in, is entering some of these trends, right? Because the best trends are the most difficult to get into. For me, it just becomes a situation of like, just find a level and then, trade accordingly.
Listen, can we hold on before we let Brian Lund go? Can we enough with the hypotheticals and
Is
the
it
theoreticals?
15 minutes already? My God, it goes so fast.
What do we buy? Give the people what they want, Brian. Give me a stock.
So knowing how you are, JC, I have a list. I have a list of stocks that have recently pulled back to their 50. I'm not saying there may be buys right now, but keep an eye on them. So we've got Affirm, we've got Visa, we've got AI, we've got DOCN, we've got Lemonade, which is LMND, Net, and Redfin. So take a look at those, and you can use your own criteria. This is just criteria that I think works, but like if you have a criteria,
which one do you like the best?
I like AI. Here's the thing about AI, right? And I'm not a fundamental guy, but the guy who started AI and runs it, Thomas Sable, right? He is such a badass operator. He was with Oracle way back in the day. He wanted to do something different. Ellison said, "Screw you." He quit Oracle. He started his own company, Siebel Systems. Larry Ellison said, "We're going to put you out of business." And not only did he not put Siebel Systems out of business, they had to buy them for $3 billion a few years later. So this is the same guy that took on Ellison and won, and he's in the AI space. By the way, enterprise AI. They've got contracts with Shell, the U.S. government. They're not doing a little chat GPT thing. They're scaling this thing. So I like the fundamental story, and if the technicals match up, I think this could be a winner.
This is crazy to hear. This is really interesting. I want to hear more. So this is not only are you saying it's not a hype stock, this is a real business.
It's got a proven operator. I'll say that for sure.
Okay. And apparently some deals already with some, forces.
Throw up slide 1 quick. Throw slide 1 before Fun Police kicks you out.
Okay. Fun Police will throw up slide 1.
Thanks, Spencer.
You're welcome.
Love you.
Yep.
They should change.
Look at that. Look at that.
They should change the ticker from AI, though. Doesn't that bother you the way it trades sometimes because of its ticker?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little too on the nose, but the point is, it's got a good fundamental story. Go to their website. You can see all the contracts they have. It's got a good technical story. So anyway, hey, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys out here in a little more than a month, right? You're going to be in HB?
This time next month.
Dude, it's gonna be me, Brian Lund, Method Man, Strazza, Redman, Josh Brown. It's gonna be wild.
Me and Method Man are like this, man. We're tight.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys, check out Brian's Substack. The link is in the scrolling banner on the bottom of the screen. The Lund Loop. Brian, always a pleasure.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right.
Adios. I love how he came with his list and just started rattling them off.
He's the best. He's another one. Let's get him in once a month, Spencer. He came prepared. Gotta love that. He knew you were gonna ask. He knows your style.
You gotta give the people what they want. Like, listen, I like to nerd out on the hypotheticals and theoreticals as much as anybody else. But at the end of the day, we're here to make money. Let's go.
All right. Well, since we're here to make money, let's talk to the one person of us that actually makes money doing this every single day. Every single day. That's Kimmy.
Bring it. I love when they show the Kimmy.
Morning, guys.
Kimmy, I like it when they show the video of you in Colorado. That was so fun.
Colorado was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
A nice time.
That was a great time. That was 2019?
I think a year before COVID, right?
4.5 years ago, Kimmy. It feels like just yesterday. Wow.
I want to say, look at Kimmy getting down and dirty in these stocks that are reporting earnings, right? Like you traded AMD yesterday into their report. You traded Caterpillar out of their report. Moderna too out of their report.
Kimmy, 4 for 4 yesterday.
I had a good day. After hours, Obviously, Fitch downgraded the US, so I'm hitting a couple of longs, but I'm short other names. So we'll see what happens today. We'll see if they bounce them or not. I'm looking at names to see if we get a little bounce. I'm watching Moderna. I'm watching TLT. It's getting a little nice, another gap down, maybe reversion to the mean. We'll see. We'll see if it's like a gap and go, like, keep heading lower, or they try to bounce them some. I mean, for them downgrading the US, we're really not that down that much, I mean, we should be down more, but
it's almost like nobody cares. So I want to get into the Moderna trade. You bought it yesterday for a profit. Caterpillar as well. Great day for Caterpillar. One for the good guys over here. Adobe, AMD, long across the board. 4 for 4 yesterday. Nice trades. Today, going back to the well, looking at Moderna. Can you walk us through this trade?
Well, Moderna is gapping down. Is it still down? Let me make sure. It was. Listen, it reports tomorrow morning. I will not stay in that for the report. So it's either it hangs on to this 112 area and bounces back to 113.50, or I'm out. So we'll see how it trades today. So like win, lose, or draw, it's kind of like I might take it for a bounce trade, see if it bounces at all for a buck. And if it doesn't, it doesn't.
I mean, yeah, this thing's been getting crushed. What are you looking at? Last year's lows, like all that support from last year?
Yeah. So we'll see. Listen, I'm not marrying the trade, right? So it's really beaten down. I mean, Merck's beaten down. All these, Merck, look at that reversal on that thing. So I'm watching to see. Target gapping down. I mean, listen, everything's gapping down today, right? I did say, last week I spoke about in the room, I said, if anyone wants a hedge on, not a bad place to put hedges on. You could do a SPY hedge. You could do a Q hedge. You could do the more aggressive.
The cheapest puts have been in like forever, however long. Like
correct.
The insurance
so I said,
cheap.
And then someone asked in the room yesterday, I said, it's a great time to put a hedge on. You could do the QIDs. You could do the SDSs. Those are more aggressive, but you have to know that they're more aggressive products, like 2 times or 3 times leverage. So those are always very careful. You have to be very careful with those as well. I did mention it last week. You could have hedges on. I'm not saying we're like dropping out of bed. I mean, we should, but we're not. So, the market does what it wants to do. It's very resilient.
Nobody has, it just continues to prove that nobody cares about these Fitch people. Like theoretically, they downgrade U.S. debt. Like theoretically, like on paper, like this is a big deal. But the market is literally telling these Fitch people just go away. Like nobody knows that you're even around anymore.
What you always have to remember: the market's not the economy.
Tell them, Kimmy. Tell them. They don't listen. They don't listen, Kimmy.
The market is not the economy, but it does play catch up.
The economy plays catch up.
There will be a point, and I don't know when, but the S&P will be back at 3,900. We will see that level probably within a year's time.
Maybe you and I are going to have a lot more gray hairs then. I don't know.
All right.
I already have gray hairs. I have to spray them in between,
the
salon.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kimmy. Have a good one. Good,
Bye, guys.
Good luck today. Guys, every day Kimmy
one.
leaves our show. She goes to her room. If you are of the day trading ilk and you are super active and you like the short term, the quick trades, I really, really, really recommend at least checking out Kimmy's room. You can check it out for free for 2 weeks. You can use the link on the bottom of the screen, the QR code, the link in the description. She's there every single day. She's calling out her trades, and she has winners all the time. So trade with her for trade with her for a couple weeks. If you like it, keep going. If not, it's okay. But seriously, she's a master. She's a master.
I'll add to that, Spencer. Spencer makes a good point. If you're already day trading, you're already looking for active moves throughout the day. Having Kimmy throwing you ideas as a supplement to what you're already doing is a no-brainer. Yep. If you're like me, I was always a terrible day trader, like the worst day trader probably ever. And so I stopped doing that a long time ago. And I started with Kimmy again last year. And I am officially a profitable day trader, which is something that I've never been able to say before. And I also like what a great compliment it is to all the other things that we're doing, because number one, it's much shorter term. Number two, it's more mean reverting in nature, while my other stuff is more intermediate term and trend following in nature. So something like Moderna that's fallen apart and she's looking to get involved from the long side on an intraday basis, again, beautiful compliment to what we're already doing. And also, if you're like me and you don't have the time to just be sitting in front of your computer all day day trading, like very few people have that sort of time, and you want to just day trade for half an hour to an hour of the day, over half her trades are in the first 30 minutes of the day, and like 80-something% of her trades are in the first hour. So you could bang that out quick, go for a run, shower up, and get back to work or something like that. That's a pretty good schedule, I think.
Yep. Okay, we got a lot to talk about still, so let's just real quickly run through
before you go. Update on the Fitch downgrade thing, because you're right, JC, it is a big deal. And so right now, listen, this is real news. I'm looking at my feed right now. Fitch director says Fitch held meetings with U.S. Treasury ahead of downgrade decision. And then I guess the Treasury or somebody, the government, is saying that's not true. And the Fitch director is coming out and saying Fitch warned the Treasury about the upcoming Fitch committee, but not about the downgrade. So now there seems to be some little tiff about whether
who cares?
Semantics. Yeah.
The 30 years ripping, though, to its highest level since November. So I do care about that.
Is that just the middle finger to Fitch?
No, that's pricing in lower bond prices.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. All right. Okay.
I feel like the market. I feel like the market cares about way more important things than what these Fitch people care about. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like the market is interested. The market's got bigger fish to fry.
Did we mention the fact that this has happened before? I don't remember.
I'm telling you, they're recycling old headlines. Like they brought back the debt ceiling thing. Like they're going to do the sequestration and the taper, and now they're bringing back the debt. It's always scary words to get people to sell everything.
Listen, the market is by far the best rating agency of them all, right? So it's not going to sit back and listen to what any sell side report or some bond market rating company is saying about the market. It already knows.
Like if you're really good at this and you're really smart, you don't work for a ratings agency, right? You manage a portfolio.
So mean.
God. These people don't get paid any money. These people are all broke. Like if you're really good at this, is that the job you're going to take? Come on.
Storytellers.
Anyway, this happened before. S&P did this in 2011, so Fitch is just catching up. Maybe we use this as an excuse to look at MCO, Moody's, or SPGI.
Wait, so they did it in 2011 and left it there?
Yeah, they left it there. They never.
Oh God.
Anyway, all right. Wait, I wanted to just real quick polish off these earnings. We got to look at this Elf beauty. Fonz and I were looking at this morning, blown away by this chart. They had earnings.
What are they selling over there?
I don't know, but they haven't had a down month since September.
No, but what is it? I know that the other big one, the department store, Ulta, has been great, and people seem to love that. But what are they selling?
The reason that you don't know, and the reason that Spencer doesn't know, is because it's like beauty cosmetics stuff. Like you guys don't buy makeup. Like I'm sure Rachel or Carrie could tell us a little thing or two about these people.
I pay attention. Right? I pay attention to what's going on.
You don't know.
I'm paying attention. Is it lotion? Is it lipstick? Is it like thing for your face?
It's all.
It used to be JA Cosmetics, and it changed its name to Elf Beauty. Maybe they watched the movie with Farrell.
I did not know that.
Can we channel check this?
I mean, sure.
They offer eye, lip, face, and paw skincare products. What is paw? Like this is for your hands? They actually call it paw?
Well, somebody said white label cosmetics.
Okay, so they're making stuff for.
Even Rachel says she's never heard of Elf, and I feel like Rachel's in the know. Grew up in New York. Email. Look, Carrie knows makeup stuff. That's good enough for me. Well said, Carrie. Well said.
So there aren't brands that Elf has.
No. Elf has. I have it in my house. We have Elf makeup.
Right, well, we got to figure this out.
I'm gonna ask my wife and see what she says.
Please do.
Anyway, look at the chart though. Look at this thing. It's a monster.
Yeah, man. This is the Instagram phenomenon. The women they want to look good for the pictures and stuff like that because, right?
So something like that.
Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Something like that.
So I haven't been looking at all the charts I normally do. I'm just stunned by Nvidia and Broadcom Avago still that they gave nothing back, and at least for Avago breaking back out now. I mean, talk about a relentless bid.
I like how you call it a Vago.
It's what it is.
What?
I don't know why they did that. They merged Broadcom and Avago merged, and then Broadcom is the name of the company. Let's just keep the ticker. It's fine.
And BCom was a cool ticker. Like they could have kept that. So whatever. It's a Vago.
All right.
Dow falls 100
okay.
points after Fitch downgrade dampens sentiment. Shit.
100 points. Wow. I gotta admit, when I saw the Fitch thing last night, my first reaction was, do I have to care about this? Like, do I need to care? And I knew JC wouldn't care, which made me feel good because I can pretend to care, but it's hard.
I know, but I do care about. First of all, I do care about some things. Number two, there's a lot of things I don't care about. So just not caring about something because JC doesn't care about it. Like there's going to be a lot of things you're not going to care about.
You're right. No. I mean, you're right. I was just yes.
And you guys, and you want me to care more about things.
I know, but this is yes.
I'm trying. I'm trying my best to care more about things. And this is just not going to make the cut.
Hey, how many weeks into earnings season are we, guys?
No, 3. This is the third
3
week.
weeks, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And all right, so still a good while to go. Do you think it's been? I mean, Spencer, I know that you're reading at least the headlines every morning. Has it been a good quarter or a not so good?
Yeah. No, it's been good. It's been not like it's never 100% good, and obviously we know that estimates are used. Earnings like they almost always beat, right? Like there's been studies on this. Like most companies beat most of the time. Yeah. No exception this quarter, obviously. So we haven't had anything like we had NVIDIA's last report. What May or whatever that was. But it's been good, and the reactions have been good. And you're seeing stocks that are popping up on the report, and they're holding their gains days later, which you want to see, like Roku, for example, just to pick one out of the hat.
So
right?
it's you make a good point there. It's less about whether or not they're beating, and more about how the stock is reacting after the report is out. That's the real beat to me. Yeah. Was your stock up after the report? Then you beat.
Can we do the chart report? Because this is like maybe the best chart report I've ever seen. There's so many good charts.
I know you get so bored of earnings talk. I'm just going to finish my point. So far during this earnings season, 59% of companies have beat revenue expectations. Sounds good, but it's actually the lowest level in 3 years. And it just doesn't. That's surprising to hear. Because
is that from FactSet? Yeah. Okay.
Listen, it's still early, right? Who's playing with the buttons?
It's the JC. I did not do that.
I was trying to press the womp womp womp, but I don't know which button is what.
I need labels too.
They come with the label thing, and I threw it away, so I don't know. Can we talk about the chart report seriously? There's so many good charts in there, not this bullshit about earnings.
Can we run the bumper, please? Bumper.
Yeah.
Can we do bumpers anymore?
Yeah.
We've done like 4 today.
Okay. I don't believe.
Great quote from Cicero. We learn nothing from history except that we learn nothing from history. I thought that was so good.
There we go.
So good. I want to start. There's so like, where do we even start? There's so many good ones. We didn't talk about this. We talked about it, but Strazza was gone. But look at Ryan Dietrich's chart showing the fund manager survey, and they're the most bearish commodities since crude oil was trading below zero. Right? I don't hate that, Strazza.
Who's underweight here? Specs or commercials?
Fund managers.
Oh, fund managers.
My side. What do you mean,
This data's tough for me.
I'm saying they're super bearish, which it's probably not surprising, right? You would think that because it follows price, and oil's gotten cut in half. Right?
What surprises me about this is that they ever even turned bullish commodities, because it didn't seem that way.
Well, they had to. Commodities were ripping, bro, and they were the only things working there for a while. Remember?
So they were more bullish commodities just the past few years than they were post-financial crisis.
All right, how'd that work out for them?
Okay.
Prices corrected, and now they're super bearish. All right. Strazza doesn't care. What about I mean, there's so many good ones. Danny Berger all the way down 30 years, 30-year yields hitting the highest target of the year. You know, Strazza just brought that up. That's a good one. How about the high beta, low volatility ratio from David Rath? That's another good one. You scroll up there. There's a lot of good ones on the chart report today, right?
The 30-year ripping is interesting here. It certainly seems to me as though rates are at least heading to test the upper bounds of their ranges. And then we'll see. But I look at things like, you know, gasoline and the action from some of these commodities. Gasoline's completing a reversal pattern. I think you're going to get a range breakout from rates too.
Dude, I was on Fox last week and I'm talking to Liz Clayman and she's bringing up RBOB futures. I was like, okay, Liz, I see you.
Listen, gasoline.
I'm very impressed.
Gasoline is some, you know, as good of information as we have for assessing inflation and inflation expectations. Gasoline's super helpful for that. I think we're going to dive.
Yeah.
Do we have Ian today?
No.
Bring him in tomorrow so we can discuss.
Do we have anybody?
Well,
or are we going to talk about our charts?
No, we're going to talk. We have so many more charts to talk about.
Good.
So many more charts. Well, anyway, I really liked I really liked the most. I mean, listen, I like the chart report every day, but I thought yesterday was exceptionally good, and I made the list too with my Dow Transports chart. So you know.
Okay, guys, get the chart report. It's free. It goes out every single day. The link is in the description. The link is also scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
If you're too lazy to click and if you're more of a scanning person, you're more of a QR person, here's the QR code on the screen. Check it out, scan it. Speak now, forever hold your peace. Okay.
Dude,
Scan.
Kimmy just bought the TLT. I like it. I like that, Kimmy.
Yeah.
Somebody likes to live dangerously. Dude, but this is just reiterating my point from earlier. Like, she's mean reverting in nature. She's looking to buy Moderna and she's buying TLT. These things are getting the shit kicked out of them. Go Kimmy. Go get them.
Do we have Hot Corner today?
Hell yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do. All right. Gonna play the bumper?
Yeah, please.
Hot Corner. So hot right now.
There was all the purchases are Piker purchases. You got $250,000 coming, Commerce Bank shares, the Bancorp. That's an interesting name. The Bancorp. Another $250,000. So a couple of regional banks purchases. That's probably more interesting to me. The fact that there were two regional bank insider transactions versus the dollar amount itself. $250,000 each. Nothing that stands out, but.
All right. Do you want to just finish doing the segment? Why don't you just do it?
I was going to say, actually, JC, this seems like maybe the third or fourth week in a row that we've had regional bank purchases on this.
Yeah, and there's multiple ones, so that's a good point. What do you need to see for it to not be a Piker purchase in your mind? What is your floor? What interest?
I mean, $250,000?
Good question.
$250,000, like, it's just, you know, when I see a milli coming through the tape, you know, you get into the seven figures, that's more interesting to me than an insider buying $250,000 worth of stock. Like, it's fine, but to like what we were just saying, for me, it's less about the dollar amount and more about what Spencer was saying, how we've been seeing that over the last few weeks, how even today there's two, right? By the way, can we talk about the name of this company, The Bancorp?
Yeah. It has a decent chart, apparently.
Has better than a decent chart. I mean, so we're looking at, so this one based out of Wilmington, Delaware.
Yeah.
The Bancorp.
Boy, does this one look different, huh?
Yeah, man. What are they doing?
Yeah.
You think that it's an AI bank?
Private label banking and financial services.
It is a great name. Maybe there's some, I don't know, M&A rumors. I have no idea.
All right. Yeah. No, the chart.
Wilmington, Delaware, home of the Wilmington Blue Rocks minor league organization.
Wow. How did I knew that, but how did you know that?
You know, Spencer, there's a lot of things that you don't know about me.
One more. Crocs.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Are you guys aware of the fashion craze for these shoes called Hey Dudes?
No, keep
Are
going.
they owned by Crocs?
Keep going while I get my Crocs.
Yeah, go get your Crocs, but those aren't cool anymore. It's the Hey Dudes. So they were experiencing like some like wild growth past few quarters. Everybody's wearing these shoes. We got to get a picture up here. Look them up, Google them. But they're like so fat and large and ugly. You look like you got like Fred Flintstone feet. And they don't look breathable at all. But everyone down here is wearing them. It's a big thing. Anyway, growth is kind of plateauing for the Hey Dudes. And that's why the stock reacted the way it did to earnings.
Slide 1, you got a picture of a Hey Dude there, Spencer, if you want to.
Okay, I've talked about this before, but I've had these slippers. These are Croc slippers. I wear them in the winter. They're very warm. I've had these for like 15 years. Okay, they're super durable.
You would be a Crocs person. I knew you had Crocs. You didn't have
I feel like you would be a Crocs person.
They're slippers. They're slippers. I wear them to like, if I need to I run outside to my car in the snow or in the winter.
All right.
They're very comfortable.
Rachel, what's your beef with Hey Dudes? Throw up slide 1 there so people know what we're talking about. Rachel says,
Okay.
Don't talk to me about Hey Dudes. Why? What's your beef?
I think they're ugly. I don't get it. I think your Crocs are ugly too.
Oh, wait a minute. I think my mom.
I know, but I think they're like Crocs are like pugs. Like we all know they're ugly, but like still they're kind of cute.
Uggs.
Can we get a clear picture? There we go.
Nah, those actually look kind of cool. Cooler than the ones I'm seeing out here. They're big. They're big. They're clunky. No, too much.
They don't look that terrible. Are they comfy?
They're supposed to be very comfy.
I'm gonna order a pair.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Mark says that. Who's the simps? Are they simps or are we simps?
Wait, can I tell you a quick shoe story? My mom was trying to order new shoes or whatever, and they sent her. This is a few months ago. They sent her a pair of Yeezys, and she was like, "I didn't order these," and they were like, "Too bad," because they have all this supply of Yeezys that they can't.
Does your mom know how anti-Semitic they are?
Right. Hold on. So she goes, "I'm gonna send them back," and they were like, "No, don't." And then they gave her this whole sob story about how. This is true. They gave her a sob story about how like the factory is, staffed by single mothers, and if you send it back, they'll get in trouble. So just keep your Yeezys.
Dude, that's funny. Yeah, that was a big deal for their company.
Now my mom wears Yeezys. It's the end of that story.
JC has a pair.
I have a pair.
Yeah. Would you pay $500 for them?
I don't think so.
Paid a lot.
Did I? I don't remember. I get them on StockX. I get all my shoes on StockX.
You got them when they were like you picked the top in that one, sir.
No, actually, no. I take it back. I bought them when sneakers were collapsing. That's when. Remember that I even emailed everybody. I said, guys, now's the time to buy sneakers because they're down 50, 60, 70%. That's when NFTs were falling, like collectibles in general. And I bought the dip in sneakers. That's what it was.
Maybe. So a bulky deck shoe vibe, yeah. Frida West, that's spot on. I like that.
Hey, new all-time high for Skechers, by the way.
Which also just shocking. Who wears those? I guess like people who work at restaurants, and grandpas.
Skechers, people like older folks. That's what they're made for.
Like I'm happy to wear a Velcro shoe one day. I'm actually looking forward to it, but I got 30 years until that's appropriate. 20.
Strazza's like an old man in a young man's body.
I don't know. I don't know who wears Skechers.
You'll have Velcro shoes before me, buddy.
My daughter has Velcro shoes. They're pretty easy to put on and off.
Yeah. Full circle.
All right. So listen, market's open. The Dow's down a whopping 34 basis points on the downgrade of the United States of America debt, reiterating that nobody gives a shit about what these Fitch people have to say.
Yeah, but every other major index is down too, right? So you got, let's see, oil's down, crypto's looking all right this morning. Yeah,
Spencer, you should reach out.
Spencer Israel saying something positive about cryptocurrency.
Why don't you reach out to Fitch, see if they want to sponsor the show?
They can't afford it. Those people are broke.
All I actually thought like that Fitch was known as being like the little brother because there's three of them, right? There's Moody's, S
The
and P,
fact
and
that there's
Fitch,
three of
and
these things is ridiculous.
I thought that Fitch was like the little brother of the other two, but I don't know. What do I know? I don't know. Okay.
Hey, Spencer, did you see this Coney Island Pizza Fest? You got to go to this.
What?
Yeah. One Bite Pizza Festival.
When?
Spencer doesn't cross rivers.
Oh, you gotta go.
I'll go. Actually, true story. I have never been to Coney Island. It's been.
How have you never been to
It's
Coney
been-
Island?
My dad grew up in Brooklyn, and we've talked about this literally for my entire life, and we've never.
You know
gone.
where you should go to, Spencer? Go to a Cyclones game.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
And then you go play, like go to the carnival before the game, pregame there,
Yes.
ride some roller coasters. It's
I've
grimy.
never
There's like a
gone.
layer of filth across all of Coney Island, but once you get past that, like it's cool.
No, I've never been to the real Nathan's. I've driven past it a gajillion times to get to Long Island, but never actually stopped. So I'll check out that link.
Listen, I'm not a
thank you.
food festival person, but I just got to read the headliners here. Prince Street Pizza, Angelo's Pizza, DeFaro Pizza, Di
Wow,
Lorenzo's.
Angelo's Pizza made the cut.
Yeah, I guess so. It's South Philly. Frank Pepe's, John's of Bleecker Street, Sally's, Modern, Lucali, I don't know what that is, Patsy's Pizzeria.
Yeah, Patsy's, Harlem.
Good
What
list.
about L&B, Smolny Gardens?
And the best one of all, the best pizza in the world, Colony Grill.
Stop it. You're so Connecticut, it makes me sick.
Everybody knows that, dude. They are
No,
the
not
best.
everybody knows that. Connecticut people think that.
So wrong. All right. Moving on.
Okay, wait. Can we talk about some even because I made it the title of the show today? Let's talk about some charts some stocks at critical levels
Let's
here.
do it.
We have a few. Let's start with. I guess we'll start with Walmart. I sort of just picked these out of the hat because, I don't know, but we have a few charts here. Stocks at critical levels on the upside and on the downside. So this is Walmart. Would this be a new all-time high? Yeah.
Yes.
I wouldn't
Okay.
make too much of these stocks running into like individual components running into resistance levels. Some are going to work through. Some are going to correct a little bit as they take more time to absorb the overhead supply. It's more the indexes. Do we have any of the indexes that are running into those former highs? Spencer?
Walmart is one of the bellwethers of this market, and it just
Yeah.
closed at a new all-time high, highest monthly close in history. By the way, the Walton family dumped like $5 billion worth over the last few months.
Oh yeah, but that was a Piker purchase because it was like 0.02% of their net worth.
Piker sale.
Sorry. So
Go on over to slide 12.
I love how Spencer's incorporating the Piker purchases in his comeback. I like that. Well done, Spencer.
slide 12.
Yeah. So it's
Excel.
charts like these. I mean, JC had a really nice post about this weekend, Sunday morning, I think. How long does this take is kind of the question for me. And are there better opportunities in other areas if this does take a while here? But what I don't think you want to do is look at something like this and be like, oh, let's short tech stocks. Let's short the best stocks in the market. No, it's more, we got to be patient here. Maybe it's time to rotate, find some opportunities in other sectors. But a lot of this, especially in tech, especially in growth, seeing it in just some of the best indexes. And like I said, some are going to work through it. Like look at industrials, already making its way through. Transports are now there testing. And then other groups, it seems like tech, is going to spend a little bit more time up here absorbing this overhead supply. I don't know. What do you think, JC?
If you break it down on a daily time frame and you zoom in on these little consolidations, they look like bull flags. And I say it 1,000 times, when these little bull flags do not resolve in the direction of the underlying trend and they reverse in the other direction, that's a big heads up.
Okay.
So if you do want to short tech stocks, I have no problem with that, especially if they're breaking down, resolving these little consolidations lower. Sell some calls if you can get paid for it. You're not really getting paid for it. That's why I didn't sell calls on on technology, because it's what did they say, the juice ain't worth the squeeze, right? So I didn't sell calls, even though like in theory that's a nice trade, kind of just feed the ducks. I wasn't getting anything, so I didn't put it on. So I'm just not in it. Like I have no technology stocks. I haven't had a technology stock since I guess I sold Meta, and Meta's not even a tech stock, but it's in that world. That was probably the last tech. That's not true. I had Zoom for like a hot second. Is Zoom technology? That's communications too, I guess. I had Zoom for a hot second. That's the extent of my tech exposure. We did well with tech in the first half, and I got nothing. And if tech goes without me, I guess I'll probably have to re-enter and get involved in tech. When I look at these tech stocks, there's nothing that says, wow, I need to own this.
All right, then why don't you punch in like AVGO? And if someone were to come to you and say, I'm buying this, little continuation pattern breakout, and Avago just made new closing highs yesterday, need some follow through today, but you would be like, yeah, no, don't buy that.
First of all, I don't tell people what to do. First of all. Second of all, where are you wrong on this trade? Like 850 is sort of like my level, 850. I mean, you can even say 870. We're nowhere near that. So like I'm more interested in risk versus reward. Is this thing probably going higher? Yeah, it's probably going to 1,000. But I'm more interested in where I'm wrong. And it's not that defined here. So, right? You know me. I'm more interested in what the market would have to do to prove me wrong than I am interested in making money. Any idiot could buy a stock that goes up and make money. That's the easy part. It's what do you do? It's what do you do with the ones that don't do what you think they're going to do, right? I spent all my time thinking about what the market is going to do to prove me wrong, more so than thinking about the cars and houses that I'm going to buy with my profits and everything like that. That's stupid. Any idiot can make money long a stock. It's what do you do with the ones that don't do what you think they're going to do? And on something like Avago, like I have a hard time being like, well, if the market does this, then I'm wrong, and the risk is very well defined, and like I don't have any of that.
All right, fine.
You feel me on that though? So I'm not going to tell somebody not to buy it. Quite frankly, I really don't care what other people do. They're welcome to YOLO anything they want. For me personally, the risk isn't defined here, so I can't do it.
Listen, I kind of get that. Fine. I don't know why you would close the door to these stocks, though. The way I'm looking at it is probably a little bit simpler. It's a raging bull market. These have been the best stocks. I'm definitely not looking to short them. Maybe I'm not as aggressively buying them as I was and looking to take profits and not entering new trades. But there's just better ways to lose money in my mind than going trying to short the best stocks in the raging bull market.
Energy is making new 2-month highs today relative to technology, and financials are not. But energy is just an FYI, interesting ratio that we've been talking about here while you were in Asia. And industrials also pushing up against new 2-month highs relative to tech.
Throw up those NASDAQ relative trends because they illustrate what you're saying, JC. It's a really logical level to see
slide 16,
some sort of a reversal in the relative trend that's been favoring growth stocks over all other stocks for so long. Right? Again, we've been here before.
People are like, well, Apple's worth more than the entire Russell 2000 combined. And it's like, well, you better get used to that because you're going to see a lot more companies that are worth more than the entire Russell 2000 for the simple reason that market caps and stocks keep getting bigger. But by definition, stocks in the Russell 2000 cannot get bigger because they're small caps. And when they do get bigger, they get moved into another index. So Apple's just the first one. Expect dozens of these over the coming years.
Yep, I'm with you. And look, I mean, it's not just small caps, right? You chart the NASDAQ 100 against anything, and for 20 years now, it's been the place to be. Does that last forever?
First of all, not for 20 years. The NASDAQ underperformed for a long time. It took a long time to repair that damage.
Look at the left-hand side of the chart. Where are we bottoming here?
Oh, I guess you're right. That was 20 years ago. Man, the bubble, the dot-com bubble was 23 years ago.
2000. It's 2023, Jason.
I'm getting old, bro. I'm getting old, man.
It's been a good run for these stocks, and a lot of investors that you'll talk to will tell you they're growth stock investors, right? They buy.
And if you compare other countries to the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, it also looks like this.
And you don't even have to compare other countries to the NASDAQ. You could use the S&P 500. And you're right, same thing. The U.S. over world and growth over value trends have been fierce my whole career. But we're at a very logical level for, if not a pause or a reversal, at least, maybe some sideways. So all the evidence continues to suggest maybe we should be looking outside of tech. I'm not disagreeing with that point at all.
Can we do a little recess before we hop?
Yep, I was about to go there.
Wow, it's already 9:55.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Took the words out of my mouth.
All right, Strazza, here's my proposal.
Yeah.
You, me, Sean, and Louis going to the football game? Louis' first NFL game?
Oh, God, yes. We got to bring Louis. 100%. I haven't even gotten tickets yet. And if I don't, it's your fault. But yeah, let's plan as if we are going to get tickets. And
Louis just got his.
He got accepted, though? He got approved?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I was booking other tickets. I'll do that after the show.
Louis' first football game. I apologize ahead of time for my behavior, but when I go to a football game, I can't.
Which game is this?
I can't control myself.
Miami, San Diego?
First of all, they're in LA now, the Chargers. And the Dolphins just happen to be playing against them. Sean, Chargers, Dolphins.
We're going to be the only people there.
We're not going to be the only people there. It's a brand new, beautiful stadium. There's a zillion people in Los Angeles. It's going to be sold out. The only people there.
It'll be
this
all
is the
Dolphins.
NFL, dude.
No, that's actually true. It'll be all Dolphins, but that's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
Oh yeah, you're gonna wait till you see my ridiculous outfit that I'm gonna be rocking. I am very excited for this year.
What can we bet on when we're playing golf tomorrow?
I just got a new pair of Zubas, so I'll be wearing my new Zubas to the game.
What would be fun to bet on, and what kind of handicap do you need while we're golfing tomorrow?
The whole sport is a handicap for me. I'm gonna be dropping balls. I'm gonna be losing them. My score is probably not gonna be my actual score.
All right.
I'm gonna try to chip on. I'm gonna miss the ball. I'm gonna swing again. Let's be serious.
Me and my buddies don't keep score either, but we will do we're on the 15th. It's a par 3. Furthest from the hole buys a round. You know what I mean? Do stuff like that.
I guess.
Never mind. Forget it. I'll figure it out.
Yeah. I am a terrible golfer. I'm gonna go in there and just try not to hurt myself. Right.
All right. My recess is we have a website. We haven't talked about this before, but when you see us share our screen sometimes in the background, you can see on the bottom of the screen there it says stockmarketmedia.com. We've got a website. Here it is. Okay, it is live. It is functional. The show is embedded. All of our YouTube stuff is embedded on the site. There is a chat that is pretty quiet right now, but we're going to get some people in here soon. If you pay for any of our subscriptions, if you get Chart Report private access, things of that, Kimmy's room is going in here. You can access all of that stuff on this site. It looks amazing. Brett and the team did a fantastic job. If you want to know, we've had several people ask us in the last few months, we've been doing the show, what do you guys offer? How can I learn more? Go to the site. It's stockmarketmedia.com. It's literally on the bottom of the screen there. You can see rangefinder. You can see, all the services we offer right here, all of our free stuff that we offer. And it's fantastic. And it looks beautiful. And I'm so proud of it. And I want you all to go there and be proud of it with me.
It's awesome.
So,
yep. Good job, Spencer. Good job, Brett. How can we mark, how can I differentiate between what's in the website chat versus the YouTube chat so I can give preference to people who are on the website?
Oh, the website chat gets the preference. The YouTube chat doesn't get the preference.
Can we
we're going to start, incentivizing people to go in there a little bit, just to, maybe we'll do some report giveaways, things. We'll give away some links or some reports and stuff. We'll put it in that chat over the YouTube chat. We still love you, YouTube chat. We still love you, but obviously we built this beautiful website that has a chat, and we want to use that too. So. Anyway, I'll put the link up on the screen, even though it's there right now, but I'll put it on again. It's stockmarketmedia.com. Favorite it, bookmark it, tell your friends and neighbors. There. Stockmarketmedia.com. It looks so good. I'm so happy with it.
Well, maybe I'll get a ticker one day too.
Do you
Oh,
guys
here we
have
go.
any proper? Wait, do we have a proper swing trading channel?
No, it's internal.
Yeah, that's kind of
We're swing
That's
trading
kinda
at
just-
Also Charge Premium. We're swing trading. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, that's
We're
fair.
looking at weeks and months.
I always thought of swing trading as a couple weeks to a couple months, JC.
that's what you guys do. That's what you do anyway.
Yeah, that's the time frame. But somebody was telling me the other day, swing trading is a couple days to a couple weeks. I don't.
Everybody has different definitions for time horizons. How many times have we heard, intermediate term time horizon? What is intermediate?
Yeah,
Like for
you're
me,
right.
it's weeks and months. You know, short term is a couple days. You know,
Yeah.
but somebody might say short term is 10 minutes. Like everybody is different. So I think when you talk about swing trading, when you talk about intermediate term time horizons, things like that, I think it's probably prudent to maybe define what that means to you, because it probably means something else to other people. All right, I'm out of here, guys. Always a pleasure.
We are all out of here. Everyone have a good day. Go make some money. Hot corner, 1 o'clock. You ready, Strauss?
Yes.
All right.
Bye,
All right,
guys.
adios.
Run it. I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground.